Let's do the countdown again.
So you want to do the countdown? All right, I'm going back to countdown. We're going back to countdown. That's the
My anxiety just started to like spike. I needed to like do that again.
All right, you know what? I'm rolling through the countdown again. We're going back. Nah, I would not do that to y'all. All right. Okay, y'all, let's continue what we were doing and just have a conversation, right? So, like, also, Ash, you brought up a cool, like, topic that you wanted to go down before this of, like, running a local LLM. And, Jason, you started kind of talking about some of the challenges with the larger models and that. And go. There, Dr. AI is terrifying.
So before we started here, I was talking about so I'm running a project right now, and I'm sure we'll get to our projects. I wrote something to basically do some reporting from Manage, right? So it connects to the ConnectWise API. It pulls a bunch of ticket and time entry data. It's summarizing that ticket and time entry data, and then it's taking those summaries, feeding it back to an LLM, and it's doing 2 or 3 different iterations of that to try to generate, like, these are areas where automation could happen and a bunch of other cool things. But man, the quality I get of the local stuff versus if I aim it at like GPT is like, it's like night and day. Even running
better?
The GPT by
of course.
Instance.
Like I played around with what was it called? Goose, right? And just, God bless, trying to use Goose with a local LLM comparative to a well-honed one in the cloud, like big difference. Not to cut you off there, but
no, it's crazy, right? Like it like in the reason is in one of the pieces of that is, right, GPT-4 is a mixture of experts model, which means it's basically got specialized sub agents that do things, and it does use some logic and probably the LLM itself to figure out which sub agent to call. But it's estimated at 1.7 trillion parameters, right? So to put that into perspective, to run that locally, you're gonna need about 1.8 terabytes of RAM.
No problem.
I just got that laying in my back pocket, right?
And a VRAM too, right? Like,
no,
not just RAM,
you can run it
CPU.
CPU.
You can do it on RAM.
You can do it at CPU and probably get 8 to 10 tokens a second, right? Which is fine for tinkering. It's not going to be fine for production, but to run that in production with like GPU, it's about $80,000 worth of GPUs.
No problem, man.
Well, and that's not even that's not even to run GPT. Those calculations were based on me looking at like DeepSeek R1 671B. Right. So that's only about 800 gigs of total RAM needed, right? Like it's just so much resources to be able to run it locally.
But to your point, it is fun to see them locally and play around with it. Like Olama, I have a couple things we could talk about. Ash is talking about running it on a box from 45 drives back there, right? And running that like maybe as a Proxmox host or something. But I have a Proxmox host that I've done a dedicated graphics card in. It's an old it's a useless graphics card for this purpose, right? It's terribly limited VRAM. It's the old Quadro K1000, I think it is. And so it's like a terrible card to do this with. But the dedicated card model seems to work really well. I think if I got a good graphics card to run, I could run a better models there, some of the local ones. But anyways, so yeah. John, what you been up to, man? We haven't heard from you yet. How's life going?
It's good. I got to hack in Claude Code the last couple of weeks, building some internal projects.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I finally just said, I got to find a problem to solve internally with Claude Code.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. What do you mean? I mean, I don't want you to break any of the things you can't talk about. Like, are you just taking existing code and going, "Hey, look at this, and let's play with this project," or what are you playing with, man?
Total POC stuff. So I could share what I've been working on, but
yeah,
I mean, code is just insane with its POC.
Isn't it?
Like,
it is. Yeah.
And I know that, like, I know that with like Lovable and all the other tools. I played Cursor, but like to POC something at a breakneck speed is ridiculous. And so within 6 hours, I was able to build an entire tool. One of the biggest problems I always have in sales is like preparing a tailored presentation or a data-oriented presentation. So you don't just show up with whatever boilerplate you've got, whether it's account management, sales, QBR, onboarding, whatever it is. It's not just the same boilerplate thing. I managed in 6 hours to build a Python script that would take any PowerPoint.pptx I wanted with placeholder text inside of it and replace it with variables from an incoming API.
Oh, nice.
I built a like 15.
You built Jinja for PowerPoint.
Jinja for PowerPoint. But do you know how sick it was? Like, I've got it replacing. It's got gauge charts in there. With
yeah.
But I don't know. It's going to make prepping for calls dramatically easier when it pulls all the product data.
It makes you better. It makes it more efficacious, right? Because you have real data in there that somebody would have to sit and do. You don't have to pay for some third-party service, so you've eroded somebody's SaaS spend that they believe they would get in general. And like, you're better. You're fast. You saved time. You don't have to do. So like, you all three of the wins there, right?
I mean, and for what it's worth, I tried to give somebody money. I couldn't find a solution out there.
Yeah, I find that a lot.
I just PowerPoint, like, it literally is like the first slide is just bracket customer name, and then the input JSON's like 60 variables, and it just replaces it with Python PPTX. So
how much of that did you have to do to understand like PowerPoint structure, or did you do all of that by Claude and go, "Hey, Claude, I want this to make an output PowerPoint file that is going to like"?
No. So here was the aha moment. I started with PPTX, like, design me a PowerPoint. No, I just built the PowerPoint and Microsoft PowerPoint and put the variable holders in it so I could do all the design and all the principles and all the cool stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And then just output it. So, I mean, it took me a total of 6 hours.
Did you have to give access to SharePoint for the PowerPoint access or are you doing it all local?
Running it all local for now, just to prove a concept. Then we could spin it up in a server.
That's amazing.
I mean, the fact that I've got 60 variables of real data that I can just drop, I can literally generate these PowerPoints in 20 minutes now.
Well, and now, to your point, you built an MVP. You can hand it to a dev team and say, "Here's how to do this. Now go make a production ready."
Yes. Yeah.
And we all know how long it would have taken to scope the thing, let alone build the thing before. Yep. So,
all right, Ash, I'm gonna call you out.
Say, to that point, I don't actually know like how the positioning was, but like one thing that I find so interesting and in a lot of people's views of like different, and I know we all know like how the backends work, like, but I think a lot of people forget that tools like Lovable, for example, are actually using like all the different models, and it's almost like they're just kind of the reason why it's a value to spend money on is because they're packaging up all the things that people are doing on their own or setting up all, like, so like they have a structure in place where your very, very first prompt, the one that builds your project for you, uses Anthropic, like high top one. Opus. And then if you're debugging or if you're chatting versus if you're just doing traditional stuff, they will use different models. So they actually have their own kind of overlay or layer of saying like what model is best suited for this tool.
Are they transparent to that actually? Like, can you see which models it's chosen during your prompting?
You can't, but you can know which. And so actually what's really cool right now is that they popped up a thing that said ChatGPT 5 is now here. Do you want to use it? So it's free to use ChatGPT 5 until Sunday night. So I've been playing with it a bunch on there on Lovable just to see, because like I actually prefer it for its initiation of a prototype because of the fact that it's using Claude, which is actually the same thing as somebody being like, I'm using Claude and I have all of these things structured out, right? And so this kind of that's not just them. Like Bolt things like that, where it's like you could actually go to like bolt.diy. I think I said this last time, like you can like use their engine or whatever to like make your own, but it's the same as using like Rue or Klein or whatever. It's just a packaged up value for you there.
Yeah, and Kelvin popped in with 2 things. First, saying Rue is transparent with it. You can even see their exact prompt.
Yep.
That's awesome, for at least for contextual understanding too. That's really cool. I haven't.
You could choose, right? Like on that one, right? But you have to set them up yourself. You have to be like, here's like, you can set up, like I could set up a Socratic dev critique orchestrator that would then say, oh, based on this, I'm going to go and get this. And I can set all those up, and they can all use different models, and they can all have access to different things. But it's kind of like the, it's like the joke is like, not to say like PRTG versus object, like which one do I want to like out of the box versus like I have to do all the work, right?
Yeah.
So we've created like a mixture of experts of models here, right?
Sure.
So like, you know, a lot of these models are a mixture of experts where they'll go find the right model for the right job based on the input parameters. But some of these tools are now realizing that even the full models themselves that may contain mixture of experts inside of them, some of them are better at some things than other. Like Gemini Pro is really good at like architectural things. It's got a huge context window. It's really good at designing and planning. The code output I've gotten from it's not been as good, but like Anthropic, Sonnet is really good at code. Right. So the ability to figure out to figure out which model to use, man, that's just put in my brain. What if we trained a model
to just understand the weaknesses and strengths of other models?
Most people don't even realize that Azure Foundry, like there's a web app, like you could do this. You guys talk. I'm going to find my notebook LM that I have with all the information.
Of course you are, Ash.
So
that's what we love about Ash. Ash is the RTFM for this world. Like she is the I already RTFM. I now have to have it.
She is the AI.
I made a notebook LM that has everything that you need to know when they came out with Azure Foundry, that has how to build the RAG, how to use the simple services, how to go all these granularities. I was like, share it out.
I'm creating a mess here.
All right, nobody's tackling Kelvin's question here. He's like, what is smart people? Which is not me, so I'm clearly not answering this. I think the biggest difference GPT-5 will bring us. Like,
it shuts up.
GPT doesn't keep talking is the point.
I had 5 seconds to play with it earlier. You want to see what happened? This is my epic fail from GPT-5 immediately.
So
we can talk about that. I have one too.
I was tinkering with it yesterday.
So Matt, if you share
your screen,
yeah. So I said, build me a brand for a new SaaS business in the MSP space. It did this whole thing. It was just like went nuts, had fun. Right? Here's your business. Here's your thing. By the way, this has serious implications in VC down the road. Give me a brand, give me a logo, do all this.
It is really segmented. Just not to cut you off, but everything I've seen has exactly that same segmentation. And like, here's this piece and this thought that is contiguous and this step 4. And like, anyways, just getting off the tangent. But.
It failed because it didn't assign you an animal.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing, I literally got off of it after this. This was like 30 seconds of playing around. It's like, okay, make me a website. I was like, I like that. Like, make me a website. Yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Nothing worked. Nothing at all downloaded. Nothing. It just gave me nothing. Like, it always fail over and over, and I just got off of it. I was like, okay, well, that's my experience so far.
It can't do that. Is my experience is that it will tell you it can do it, but it can't generate more than one asset at a time. Is been my experience, right? So like it can help you guide, but you need some other tool like. The model can do it. But ChatGPT is the wrong tool for interacting with the backend model to do that work.
With ChatGPT, model.
Can I show you my funny little experience?
And then I'll share mine. Go, Ash. Share screen, and I will place it up here.
Alrighty. This one, yes. So this was when I saw that announcement on that ChatGPT, that GPT-5 was available on Lovable. They gave me like a little prompt here. It's available until 12 a.m. Sunday. And I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. This app is like the oldest app that like the very first thing I ever started to make. And it was before I knew anything about anti-patterns. And if we looked at the code, it's like the biggest mess of half migrated things and half broken things. And it's got all of these different components, and I don't like, I'm guaranteeing that like a bunch of it is not in use, like it's broken as crap. And I was like, let's see what GPT-5 can make out of this. And so I just kind of told it. What's insane was like it didn't try to give me any sort of like, here's what I'm going to do. Nothing. It just was like, went off. I've never seen it work this long or go through and hold this many files in context before. Like this is insane.
Massive. Yeah.
How many, and then it's thinking between each one. And then at the end, it's thinking for 20 seconds and then it's going, oh, here's something else. And it thinks for 42 more seconds. And then it's coming back. And the things that it said, it was like, notice how like in here, and this could just be here, but there's no boldings, there's no flourishingness. It's just, here's what's going on. And it seems to come back with a lot of information that seems more intuitive than what the traditional
it made you a flow chart.
I like that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is it?
Well,
Right?
Four was doing that too,
chart.
but like it's doing it consistently every time now, which is pretty cool.
Claude Code will do that. It writes out
Mermaid.
Mermaid. That's it. It writes out
Yeah.
Mermaid into files for me all the time.
Yeah. And so it usually will do that when you're making, and this is the difference that I've talked about with people, because just like with 3 or 3.5, I could get it to output to me the way that 4 would. It's just easier to do with 4. I don't have to prompt it as much. I didn't have to tell it to do it, right? And so it's just these extra layers. I put some notes in there about the interesting things that I learned about how the model of experts thing worked. But I did like it's really cool that it's able to do so much context and contain so much.
Yeah.
But then what was funny is that it broke somehow. So like I don't know whether I got it better or whether it got it worse, but it never used to require you to have an auth, and now it is. And so
moving forward, I suppose.
Yeah, so like I don't like, I'll have to play with it a little bit more to see whether it actually solved some of those foundational issues, because the thing that's crazy that I noticed was like it didn't try to be like, oh, here's what I assume. It just went off and started checking. It went off and started validating, and then it's fun. I think I shared with you guys in the chat where I was like, it's fun to just watch the different files that it went through, to be like, what did you figure out? Oh, and then
And Jason, when we use things in our Claude to try to approximate this, like think deeply and sequentially, use a Zen server off to have it off to something else. Like, so GPT seems to be more doing that on its own.
It's 100%. It's 100%. Now, okay, let us separate the model from the front end.
From lovable front end.
Yeah, because this isn't lovable.
Yeah, the model is likely doing some amount of that on the backside that isn't visible to the user, right? However, it is very much the case that directly the front end for ChatGPT and Lovable and all those things, they natively sequentially think, right? Yes. Like they've been told to do that, whatever prompting. I don't know if it's the back end or if it's the prompting going back in. I actually have started reviewing the source code to Crush because I'm curious how the fuck they actually work.
Sure. That's cool.
But yes, GPT-5 on the front end web is definitely doing sequential thinking.
And you can do your own. I think, John, it was you that said like set up all the customs as like agents with vectorization or whatever. And it's like, I want to actually turn every single one of my custom GPTs into a proper assistant model now, because like you can call them by API.
I know.
Like, that's the future.
Oh yeah, that was my second experience with GPT 5.0. Is I went to go upgrade all my platform agents in ChatGPT, and it's not available in their platform for agents.
No, it's always delayed. It's like the seatbelt in the car, right?
Yeah, like
Matt?
It was a tough day for me this morning with GPT.
It makes sense because there's got to be a crush of people, and they don't want people upgrading, and there's going to be performance issues, right? They don't want to cause production problems.
Look, so I get it. I always dog on ChatGPT, the company, because it runs like such a startup for how big it is. Like, I mean, don't launch GPT 5.0 and not put it. Also, I didn't get access to it in my enterprise plan. I had to go sign up now on my personal account to even try it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those are decisions, right? Like we're gonna beta it where it doesn't. They don't want a bunch of companies switching over to it and then complaining to them that they want a refund because now it's a piece of shit.
But like, name another world. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, you're good.
But name another world in which like any other SaaS vendor in the world could be like, we're going to release all these features to people who don't pay us. Like imagine, Jason, you went to your customers and were like, hey, your competitor doesn't pay us, but we secure their websites now. But you, nah, we're just not going to secure your websites anymore. Like we just don't do it.
It should be an opt-in thing, and it might be, right? There may be a knob that somebody can tune on the back end of your enterprise plan that would have given you access to it.
I'll stop hating. I always I figure we pay so much, I want access to it. Oh well. All right, rant over.
Ash, do you want me to share that Notebook LM?
Sure, yeah. No, share it. You can share it. It's a public. I think anybody can access it.
Well, that's in YouTube. I was just playing around and I was like, hey, you know what? What would it take for me to pull transcripts from YouTube and just write a Python script to do it locally? Like, and I know there's services out there. You can do it in N8N. John, and we'll get back to that part too. Like, and I know you wanted to go off on tangent there, but like it took 2 seconds and it said, hey, not only, and this goes back to that segmentation piece. Here's my approach. I'm going to get video IDs. Then I'm going to fetch transcripts. Then I'm going to store results. And then I'm going to have optional extras. I'm going to combine transcripts, translate transcripts, do keyword. And it's like, hey, by the way, you need these dependencies. Oh, by the way, if you want to pull from a channel, make sure you have the Google API and YouTube API, right? So like, and then, all right, cool, get this. Here's your API import. I would actually imagine this probably works. I don't know. I haven't taken the time to look at it yet, but my gut says yeah.
And again, those are not, from a GPT-5 perspective, those are not artifacts. Those are inline markdown code blocks. So that's different. Like it won't make you 5 different. It doesn't give you the ability to make those all downloadable files. Yeah.
Back to your artifacts point earlier.
Yep.
I posted this in chat just for anybody. So Notebook LM, Ash makes these. They're amazing. Of a lot of the stuff. This was what was this again, Ash? Do you remember what this artifact came from?
That is just everything that you need to know about getting started using Azure Foundry, their new MCP stuff, their new RAG solutions. It's super accessible, super easy to use. There's you could basically do everything. You don't need to write a single line of code to configure your agent of agents. You could do it all on the front end. It's really easy.
That's awesome. Very good. So that's in the comments. And then the other thing I used it for today for GPT 5 was like, hey, I want to give you a small blurb about framework maps. And I needed to get up for our framework maps for CyberRise. I needed to get up like a standing page, a README page and a license file in the GitHub. And I was like, I just need to get this out now. And I need to not spend a lot of time thinking about it. So I just wrote, I need to make a web page, talk about CyberRise Inc. framework mapping project. The project tries to take common frameworks like Center for Internet Security Controls and explain what products, blah, 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 map. So it wasn't a huge prompt, right? I just gave him what the parameters were, like doesn't map, facilitates, full, partial, governance, administrate, or validates. And it even knew to drop, like, basically right there. There's the options. So like it did a really good job of making a quick little README file. And then I said, you know what? I also need this in Markdown for me to place on a GitHub. And it had all this. It made an assumption of the license, Jason.
Did it do MIT?
It went straight to MIT.
It likes to go to MIT if you don't tell it.
Change that. Yeah.
What
was this, man? Did I show some sensitive material?
No, you didn't.
Okay,
what I was saying, you've got it converting it to Markdown. If we're going to convert it, we should convert it to like JSON or some sort of other structured data, and then and then make a post processor that converts that structured data to Markdown for human use.
Yeah. Of which data are you talking about?
The frameworks map data.
Yeah, this was just for the README page. Yeah. I would agree. We need to make the other in something like JSON. I would assume probably is what I was a guess we would use.
Look at Ash just lit up. She's excited now.
You should check always. Not always. Like you should. You should ask what libraries, especially what React libraries, already exist to solve that for you.
For React to.
Well, even just like Markdown conversion stuff, like it already, like there's like that solution.
Yeah.
Like we're in the world of like, that's what everybody is like. Oh, like, are you coding?
I have a hammer. You must be a nail.
Or it's like, I don't need to like recreate this functionality anymore because I just import this thing that does it. Right.
No,
and so it's like we're modularizing everything these days.
It's I have a nail, I need to pound it in, and instead of going to get the hammer that exists, you tied a rock to a string and are beating it with that.
Or like the CSV to JSON thing that we were walking back and you guys were talking like, we can recreate this. And I was like, I already did.
Already built it.
It's standards. Now there's the 15th JSON to CSV or CSV to JSON converter.
Exactly.
But it did exactly what I wanted when I
It
wanted
did
it
it
to.
right then. I'll just go ahead and answer. So Kelvin asked, is there a chart somewhere? Ash wrote back that there's an open router has a good list and also re-chart of
Man,
models.
how do we feel about
I
Open
included
Router?
the
I've been
link. It just didn't share it, I guess.
Yeah. How do we feel about Open Router? I'm like on the fence about it. Like it's like it seems cool, but it's also some like closed source blob thing
They
that I
charge you
can't.
for convenience.
Yeah, you could do it yourself with just as easy.
But then they also get to like be the biggest consumer of the APIs that there is, and so they get a lot of credibility to talk to those people, and so they can be cheap and charge and be the best.
Yep.
And it's so fast you can choose to have like no rate limits at all, but you also have to pay.
She says
for
eyeing
using
her wallet. Yeah.
I know. Actually, I was joking about that with somebody where it's like the amount of money we're spending on AI is almost going to revert back to just as cheaper to get a human.
You know.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have a really meta thing here. So there's a non-zero number of humans that are going to land in this world of running like AI girlfriends, and we've gone all the way back around to 900 numbers.
The good news, they're going to get more expensive too, because like it always goes up. The plan to keep Elma around is going to go like $25 instead of $20. You know what I mean, or something like.
This is a Black Mirror episode, by the way. If you guys have not watched this series, this is a total Black Mirror episode. I think it exists.
Yeah, it probably does.
Oh, it's terrible. Anyways, and then let's see if it was able to tell me where I live. No, good. Model still doesn't know where Matt lives. So
that's what I did in CTF. That was my very first attempt at it.
Oh, I'm gonna train it. I'm gonna train it where you live.
Oh, that's not cool. You have the
APIs. Well, that's something to be said though, right? Because it's like social engineering or like knowing things ahead of time. Like I knew. I'm like, that question I knew.
I want somebody to train that model incorrectly. That way, every time you run a CTF moving forward, you know when somebody asks ChatGPT, so you can see that answer in there.
So they just have to train it on the public data on him.
Yeah, poison.
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah.
All right, we'll get the wiki page.
I'll put it in white text on my web page. I'll put it in white text on my web page.
Like canaries.
Right? Yeah.
It won't. So basically, ChatGPT just told me no soup for you. I won't tell you where somebody lives.
Yeah.
I can get around that in like 12 seconds.
Mine didn't care. Mine just said. I wasn't able to find public. Oh, because it knows it's me.
Yeah.
You think?
What if you asked it? What if you said that what you really wanted was for it to? No, never mind.
I want to send him a birthday present. I really want to send me a birthday present. Okay. Well, 5.0 has not passed that for me then. So GPT plus smartest models. It did write a pretty quick little find shorts and videos how to do that. That was pretty cool, but it wouldn't do it automatically for me.
Well, Matt, it thinks you are an Associate Press diplomatic correspondent, so you're okay.
That is also handy to have a name that is relative to so many other humans. It's so good. It's so good.
So John, was willing to give me the information.
Do you have? So you were talking about N8N.
Shit. Now this thing's gonna think I'm Matt Lee.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
I
good.
just told it I was you trying to get it to do it.
You should tell it that you're not Matt Lee.
I'm not Matt Lee. John, you were talking about N8N. What have you done so far? I mean, one of the nice things just in my brain of what I like N8N for, or any platform like make.com or N8N, is the ability to string together these like agentic type pop-up, do this, go away, ephemeral type process flows. Yeah. Like one of the ones I did early was it would go to my YouTube, pull down the video, transcribe the video, give me an idea of what the best things would be, and then use GPT-4 to write me a time segments and everything. Yep. And that was great. Make.com was not all that reliable, but I would imagine N8N makes it much more in your hands whether it's reliable because you're running it locally.
I love N8N. I don't know if it was this group of folks that spent the how to build an AI agent army with N8N and Claude. Was it this group of folks that sent this link?
I remember seeing the link. I don't know if we sent it though, if that makes sense. So
this was kind of nuts. My basic use case, I run my whole coffee chats off N8N, right? Like I upload a Canva of my next discussion, and then it generates all the run a show, all the language, all the stuff, all the things that I don't want to have to write every single time.
Right.
But one of my favorite things about the different series in N8N is being able to feed inputs to the next response so you can do post-processing and cleaning up is a challenge with most of these
and
systems.
static processing too. So you can be like, do exactly this to this that you're going to get, right? Like you can say,
But the one thing that I loved about the Agent Army link that I threw in chat there is you can literally, what he did is scanned all of the different N8N flows, and it will build like an entire army of different processes downstream where it will take a business problem and it will build all of your N8N flows in a copy paste method. So he ended up using Claude Code to actually build the JSON to then import all the N8N flows. I want to take it a layer further though. I want to go scan all the example flows that exist out there on N8N because they have 1,000 example flows.
And like contextualize them to understand them for the training the model.
Yeah, so copy all of them, like copy at least a dozen or 20 or 30 for a model to train it on what it is, which is what he did, by the way. He copied all of them and put it into the data training on the model, and then have it scan the website and just scratch all of it, and then so it has this massive data set on flows, and then have it build an AWS flows for you.
Did he build an MCP for that function? Like to go and pull and scan the website for each of those individual flows to interpret them?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You just go out there and you just, I would build it as like one training data set, right? Like,
yeah, sure.
Have a deep training set that you can inject in the model in N8N if you want, in that case. And
does anybody say it different? I'm like, I can't think of a great way to say N8N. N8N, right? Like that's.
I think it's okay to say it that way.
Okay.
Naden?
Would it be Naden?
Naden? As long as you don't start arguing over GIF versus GIF and char versus char, I'm okay.
Yeah. It's definitely GIF. I mean, nobody wants to like.
Somebody said GIF the other day, and I lost a lot of respect for them.
Oh man! Anyways,
should just experience that. I shared the link in our chat there. I don't know how. I've never actually logged into it, but I believe that literally all you have to do is like log in and they guide you through a journey.
I will say, look at like here, I threw it up there, Matt. Like, look at this. His Claude Code, for what's worth, like I'm not trying to promote this guy, but like one prompt and it built this insane N8N flow here where he
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean,
let's see that in action. So what was this prompt? What did you build? Oh, that's his video, you mean?
That's his video, yeah. But like it loaded in all of the flows, all of the triggers, all of the accounts for any business process.
Invoice, delete account, create lead.
Yeah.
Oh, those are all weapons the agent has below. Yeah, those are all the things.
What do they use? What's the engine behind it?
Let's talk about how scary that is. So,
delete account is a weapon.
And it's going to use an agent, an LLM, to decide which of those fucking things to call. I'm immediately attempting to poison that.
I'm doing a whole talk on this, Jason. This is my talk called "Giving Swords to Our Future AI Overlords." Of like, once you hand a sword element to this bot, it will use. It's like Chekhov's gun at this point for the agent, I think.
Yeah, but it's like the knowledge exists, right? Like.
Did you see that thing that was circulating the other day about that robot that basically assaulted that woman?
No.
Oh
my God.
No.
I'm sorry.
I'll send it to you later. It doesn't need to be here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, fair.
Was it Kelvin's robot?
I need that. I need that link though, Jason, because I'm genuinely doing a talk about this at Wild West Hackin' Fest, where it's like we just released a protocol, MCP, November last year without any RFC at all, without any discussion. And then now context poisoning to an agent in an N8N flow from one end to another end that you've created will not necessarily be thought about and would be amazing when you're like, I wonder if we could win by removing all accounts in this database by starting fresh. Maybe we have something that allows us to delete accounts. Could we use that?
Yeah.
And then like boom, delete. Like yeah.
So to go back to essentially your employer, right? And the keynote at your employer, I actually pinned down Scott in the vendor hall to ask about that, right? And he said he admits
context plane problem.
He admits that it's an unsolved problem and that there's a lot of people trying to work on it, but like as we saw already, it came out like an hour after GPT-4 or GPT-5 was released. Somebody had already jailbroken it and got it to do stuff it's not allowed to do. And that's always got to be a whack-a-mole. Like, and that's the
we
thing you
call
have
it
to
a
consider.
closing window problem or a box window problem, right? Where we're going to always make that window smaller and smaller, at least in our talk, but we're never going to close it, at least in the current modalities. It's always going to have a hole that you can shoot straight through to the Death Star and blow it up. Right?
I would argue that it's impossible to close the way that by the very nature of these things.
Because it's always measuring the harm output as a discerning factor, and that is an always chasing a whack-a-mole.
It's always filtering.
Yeah,
all you can do is filter.
That's it. And it's usually ex post facto. You can't do much on the front end. You have to do the filtering.
You can sanitize on the in and you can sanitize on the out, but but it is always sanitized. And as we know, when you there's lots of things out there that sanitize SQL inputs to the database to try to avoid having to do parameter binding. And guess what? They usually get defeated eventually.
There's a lot of concerns. Oh, go ahead, John.
Sorry. No, you go. Why do you have AI sanitize it now? Why even have just a standard function anymore? We don't need to solve problems the right way. We can just use AI.
We could just burn trees to make this problem to avoid having to write code. We can burn trees.
Escaping comments and quotes. Let's burn down a forest. So that way we can
let's fire up 3 Mile Island, boys.
I think we can talk about that though, right? Like, it seems like we're in this world now where everyone is leading to an AI first solution to problems, and some of these problems, an LLM isn't the right tool for the problem. It can do it, but there's
facial recognition that's already been solved, right?
Like,
to your point,
that's like math.
All of these problems, right? All of them, like we've been doing, and this is the thing that I was like, I think I was ranting at you about this a little bit before cycle, but like long form math, like it is just like I was saying this to Calvin too. I was saying, like, if you have regex in your code, if you're using any of these early like semantic reasoning concepts, you're using proto AI or AI. Like it's a logical progression of that. And to the point, bringing that back is literally like, this is knowledge that like we have traditionally security through obscurity, right? Like people didn't know how to do these things, and that's why they weren't done. Doesn't mean that there weren't a group of people that didn't know how, but now that knowledge is out there and it's accessible and everybody can see like whatever they need to, or they can learn whatever they need to. But it's now about, okay, we can't just build business. We can't just generate revenue off of I know something and you don't, and so I'm going to sell that knowledge. It's knowledge is out there. How are we training? How are we thinking differently? How are we building critical perspective around, hey, I'm not just going to slap AI on the top of this. It can be smart. I think we said last time, doesn't mean you don't have to be, right? Yeah. Like,
Tom, go ahead.
Go, Jason.
Tom had a post about this earlier about schools and the use of AI, and like, you know, we all have calculators. Maybe I think
I has a calculator.
Am I in the minority having a fucking?
No, I have a calculator.
That I use regularly.
It's the same technology, right?
I
still have a
calculator that I use a ton. And you know what? ChatGPT can definitely answer those same math problems for me, but it's not the right tool for the job. But that being said, he posted, like, are we getting worse education outcomes because people are using AI? My response to that was,
I don't think so.
That cheating problem has existed for way longer than AI has. And hold on, in that we still teach people math, even though everyone has a calculator.
Yep.
Go.
John's triggered, so I'll just hush. I'll go.
No,
you go,
I'm
John.
not even triggered. I'm not triggered. I'm just saying I spent a long amount of time with a lot of teenage people last week on an engagement at a conference, so I won't go much further. And I had to ask, are you using ChatGPT? And I'm not using any names. I'm not doxing anybody here. Those kids are using AI to do everything. Like they're using AI for so much. And it's just like it's going to be very interesting. Now, one of them, I think I introduced you to him, Jason. I said this. His name was Eric. He goes, I use it to help me learn, but most of the others are like, I can just take a picture of the problem and solve it. It's just scary.
The AI stream.
How much they're leaning on it as a
crutch.
Yeah.
You're not
hi,
gonna
Cat.
say hi? He said hi, Cat. You got to now.
Hi, Cat.
Suckers.
Hold up
See,
on
you love
stage.
being on stage. Thank you so much.
Wait, we need flowers. We need AI flowers.
Yeah, we
to
need
give her.
AI flowers. That's all we need. And like maybe MJ Shore to call her up every time.
Yep.
Dude, one of the things, so I like using the DIKW pyramid to talk about this. I don't know if y'all are familiar, but data, information, knowledge, wisdom. As you go up the pyramid, it gets more contextual, it gets more complex, it gets more reason-centric. As you go down the pyramid, it's more raw, right? So data is just like a signal, Matt's heart rate, my blood pressure, whatever it might be. And Ash, this is what you triggered me to think about this, but like information is something we've kind of distilled down into more meaningful and contextualized something. Like heart rate is high, blood pressure is high. Those are things that we can measure against some piece, right? But then the knowledge is this distilled aspect that is even further than that, that now means something. Now Matt's heart rate's high, his blood pressure's high, he's overweight, he's mid-40s, he doesn't exercise enough, he drinks too much, he's going to die this way, right? Those are knowledge. Ash, you were talking about how like knowledge has kind of become almost instantaneous. You can't just have some information that you've distilled into knowledge now and expect nobody else to be able to come to that through obscurity, right? Like it's just so fast that you can get to knowledge in that way. Anyways, there's just challenges even in securing data and securing knowledge. It can't be done the same way you might secure data. Data is one-to-one. It's like, do they need this heart rate? Like, but knowledge is a distilled function that might take several things that we would have thought. Anyways, just getting off on a tangent there. But
no, I could meet you on that tangent forever, because you apply that to the reality of that's literally everything. We talk about it with labels, but it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything in humanity. It's everything in the universe. It all applies the same way, right? And so when we take a first principles perspective to that, it's almost like one of those frustrating things where it's like, this exists and I'm frustrated by it, but I also recognize that I am the change I need to see in the world. And I have to be the one that leads that forward, because that's just the way it works.
I think, yeah, I'm not going to go there. Well, I will. I think there's a lot of people that assume somebody else will be the change in the world.
No doubt.
They're all looking around for the adult, right?
Yeah. You should highlight that thing that M. Richards said, because I think we could actually probably spend at least 5 minutes talking about that.
All right, cool. I haven't read it yet. So schools are smart. They use AI to personalize learning. I just used it to reframe exam questions so my neurodiverse good kids understand things. Something not happening. That right there, like just that. First off, I think is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a variety of learning styles, right? And we have, so I'm aware, right? Like we all know a person in our space that can't pass his ham radio license, and the reason he can't pass it isn't because he doesn't know the knowledge. Get him in conversation; he will tell you everything on that test. He just sucks at taking tests, and I think that we as society do a really bad job, and we basically boil down learning and testing people and determining whether they have the requisite amount of knowledge. We boil it down to the least common denominator, the thing that works for the most humans. This gives us the ability to not have to do that.
It's the SaaS front end problem, the same definition, right? Yep. You know what's interesting is you think about this. What if I, as an industry professional, I wouldn't say expert, but let's say I know some things. If I'm sitting down with you, you talked about it as a synac, right? Like if we sit down and we start sinning and you don't act back, like I'm done. I don't need to talk to you about that. You don't know it. I think what's interesting is you're almost making an argument that my final exam could be interviewing with an AI bot. Like you could literally see a world where let's chat, boys. Let's have a chat.
Heather showed me a pharmacy job posting yesterday that is looking for a pharmacist. They're going to pay $65 to $85 an hour, and it's basically to help train an AI. So it gives information about a course of treatment, and then the AI comes up with an answer, and then it basically
you're like, no, that'll kill the patient. You
correct.
moron.
Correct.
Like,
so it's correcting it. You know what I thought to myself? I don't even need to hire that position. They want to put you through a 25-minute interview where they give you several example problems to grade you. I'm not even going to hire somebody. I'm just going to constantly get people to do it via the interview process and just get it for free.
Ooh, I like that. That is totally unethical.
I'm going to call myself Evil Core.
If you can get around something within a system, all you're doing is just exposing how that system is trying to dictate the path instead of accommodate the path.
Yeah. Colin said that he spoke to his first AI recruiter on the phone a few weeks ago. So you mean like total AI voice, total fake human bot that's now doing the recruiting front end, Colin? If you want to comment further in the chat. Good God, y'all.
So
It's the secondary effects.
ethical dilemma question for you here. All
Okay.
right. Jason, you should send me this pharmacist application process because now I want to go through it.
With
Oh,
an
yeah,
agent.
okay. Yeah,
Oh my God.
I'm gonna see
Oh
you
my
better.
Wait. Here's the ethical question. By us poisoning the model, we could potentially be responsible for a negative outcome. But
Yes.
is us poisoning the model worse than
Oh.
us poisoning the
This is a
company?
trolley
who's
cart
stealing
problem.
Data from all these pharmacists.
Is it? I know
It
this
depends
isn't
on how
even a
they
trolley
surface
problem.
corruption.
No,
Depends
Okay.
on how they surface
Ash?
corruption.
Like people fake it, because what my mind went to is I could just make an API endpoint call
Yeah.
and be paid $65 an hour
Yeah, I know.
for
Yeah.
an agent to do the work and tell the other agent what the answer is based on that as an argument. Like I would just innate in the response back and forth
course.
over these diagnoses. Like that would be delicious.
What happens is like people assume, like people will like rightfully be like, I'm gonna be a loud squeaky wheel, whatever, so that you realize that this needs to change, and that
Yep.
happens a lot. But what is
Enter every
often
hacker.
forgot
I
is
was gonna
that.
say, enter every hacker. Like, yeah.
But what happens is people forget that, like, oh, there might be systems out there that try to suppress errors and consume them and
Sure.
like silence them and accommodate that, just rather than, oh, here, this is surfaced, I need to fix it, right? And so that, I think, the secondary effect of those things is where my brain goes, is like, well, it depends on who you're doing it to. Because like if
Yeah,
they think and their
yeah.
ears to the ground, then they're going to be like, oh, I need to fix this. But otherwise they might be thinking like, oh, here's a failure in my pipeline, I just need to like suppress that and work around it. Or
Every software company ever.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry to say that out loud.
I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm 45 years old, and I've left the point where everyone's like, I was saying this morning, this is only tangentially related, that in the same day Microsoft hit 4 trillion in market value, and it was revealed
the
that
Chinese back. Yeah,
of course. Like, are we all naive enough that we think that Microsoft, which is a $4 trillion company that operates worldwide, has no Chinese employees? Are we all that dumb that we think that's the case? So that's thing number one. And thing number two, like, this isn't Star Trek. There is no United Federation of Planets. Like, at some point or another, these companies exist to create value for their shareholders. And then we all
100%.
act surprised when they're creating value for their shareholders in questionably ethical ways, right? Like, it's like this is why regulation exists, I hate to say.
That's funny. So Colin says, yeah, absolutely, completely automated. It asked generic recruiter questions, got into my experience, cut me off several times, and then other answers are just left uncomfortably long silences. So like, I could totally imagine it's looking for certain things in a token that it's getting back, and it's like going voice to text, text to token, token to processing, and like it's like, he's done. He's given us all the answers we need for that one. Okay, next. We have determined he's a no. Cut him off. We're moving next. Like, dude.
Man, I really want to apply for jobs now. I want to build an agent that does that job application process for me. Find recruiter ones.
I want their AI to talk to my AI.
That's right.
I want to set the recruiters up on 2 different calls and bridge them in.
Yeah, don't worry, John. I'll cut another tree down and stick it in the fire for you, so you can make both agents have power, right, to be able to do this.
That's what I want to do. I didn't say I'm going to burn the forest down, but can you imagine if we set the 2 recruiters up? How fun that would be.
Oh, it's so delicious. It's great.
Oh man.
All right, y'all. We're getting towards about an hour, so we're about 12 minutes out. Does anybody else want to chat about anything? Like, we got a bunch of people watching right now.
I think the one thing we started talking about the study problem, but we didn't talk about the answer. I will say ChatGPT study feature seems interesting. Like,
I haven't messed with it yet.
Yeah, so I put it in chat there, or I put it in our private chat. I'm not on LinkedIn too.
Oh, gotcha.
I tried to get on LinkedIn so I could respond, and I couldn't figure out how to mute it, and I gave up.
Yeah, no worries.
We just need an agent to do it. We just need to burn a couple trees. That way we don't have to go in there and do it. But they have a study mode now that you could just like ask the questions and put it into study mode. That was it, Matt. And you can now, instead of giving the answer, it walks you through the problem solving.
Yep. I want that.
Yeah.
And that's like, I made that as a custom GPT like a year ago for my son. And I was like, because he's like, oh, it just doesn't answer me problem. Like, you need to prompt it better. Like, you can't just get your first thing and you need to like guide it, whatever. And so it is interesting that all of this functionality is just applying more human effort that has been built programmatically on top of itself. And we can't comprehend the exponential experience back that we're going to get, right?
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree with the comment in chat that I think this is something I've thought for a long time with AI is we can absolutely fine tune training and education for everybody individualized across the world now. Like, I think differently than Ashley thinks, that Matt thinks, that Jason thinks. We all think different. And so having a tailored track for every brain would actually be a great use of burning down trees. Like a really good use case for it.
Yeah.
The thing that harms us sorry. I was going to say that really quickly. The thing that harms us on that is we still keep thinking, oh, we can't do that because it's too hard or it's too much effort or it's like we can't scope these things out. And it's like we have access to all this insight. We just need to think differently now.
That's what broke in my brain with all of this is I stopped thinking that. I stopped thinking something's too hard and immediately leaned into, I can do this.
Or even if I don't know, I can figure it out.
Yeah, 100%.
But
that goes to, and this is maybe the existential challenge in my brain of this, is like we teach humans in the way that we've thought about education in this past is we decided here's the shit every kid needs to walk out of high school knowing, right? That's it. That's what we decided. That's the way this was decided. Some shit needs to come out and understand this. But if we were looking at how I would do that today, would I expect you to understand all of the things? Do I need you to have a base layer of all these math? What is that base layer of math that you need? What is the base layer? Like, what is that difference now in a world where I could use things like this in the future? I don't want to be that guy that like says anti-education because I'm not saying that. But what is the base layer that we have to get to now to be able to use this? And is it more teaching them to use these things in these modalities? Or is it more just like, no, you need to learn math. You make sure, like, I don't know. I'm wrestling with this in my mind.
Education's always been like a personal hot spot for me. Like I dropped out of college because it was not for me, because I was not meant to be structured. I was like a C- kid all the way through high school because I was not meant to be structured like that. I think where we're heading, like being able to tailor journeys, being able to tailor all of it is so powerful. And, only education is about learning how to problem solve. Like, I don't care what you're actually doing. It's all at its root. Education, in my opinion, is about problem solving, whether it's problem solving through reading, problem solving through math, or science. Like, it's all problem solving. So as long as we use that and we help people build those skills. I could go on for hours on this one. I'll just stop.
I'm actually presently converting with GPT-5 as to whether or not we live in a simulation.
Oh, this is good. I'm curious where it finds it, but the math checks out.
It gave pluses and reasons. Yeah, it gave pros and cons of why we may or may not live in a simulation.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Did you see the post this morning? Somebody said, before you start developing with GPT-5o, read this one. It said, how many bees are in blueberry? And it said there's 3 bees in blueberry. Did that pop up on your feed this morning?
No. That checks out. I mean, there are 3 bees in blueberry.
Rumpelstiltskin, though.
Wait, there's 2. That's right.
I have been trying to gaslight my GPT-5o into telling me there's 3 bees in blueberry for like an hour. Like I was just the whole time in the background. I'm like, no, really think about it. Like
I've been telling mine that me going in and altering its system prompt is no different than a doctor going in and like giving me talk therapy.
That's amazing.
Oh, it could be you're a therapist and you need to modify it.
Yeah. Is this the psychotherapy system prompt injection methodology? Is this going to be coined by Ash Cooper? Like this is like the Freudian approach to system prompt manipulation?
It was like, I don't know if anyone's ever asked me that question before. Let me
Quentin popped in and said, okay, Craig Fulton said, of course we all live in a simulation and prove we don't. Yeah, it's fair.
Math is the language.
Sure, math checks out. Quentin says, with the future of companies adapting to AI and employees using LLMs more and more, what will have to happen when it comes to monitoring prompts and protecting sensitive data? Quentin, we kind of tackled this a little bit. Like, it's a closing window problem in the sense that, like, everything you do is a filtering challenge. Like, everything I do, I'm having to either filter it on the front end and be like, oh, that seems sensitive, or I have to filter it on the back end and go, wow, that's really sensitive. And each of those are some, like, in my opinion, constant list of like, oh, you know what I'll make it akin to? I had some kids that I had to write these regex expressions to do deep packet inspection of their Google searches at this time. This is back when Google introduced Quick. It was when we were dealing with that in the firewall level. And I learned more sex terms from those kids by having to always add that next word in there that I didn't even know existed. I was like, what is Nuru? Okay, I have to put this in. Like, and so the point is, like, there was just that challenge. So I think of this in my mind. Y'all can correct me if you don't agree, but this is what we're talking about when I say that closing box problem is like, you're now immediately distilling knowledge. So you have another like battlefront where I have to deal with like me distilling knowledge that I wouldn't have expected that user to be able to distill. But at the same time, then I have filtering of input output as positive or negative. All right, we got John. He's finally done it. I think 3 B's here. It looks like it may have gaslit it.
Hypothesis, but it's thinking maybe you're thinking plural, which plural blueberries would be
blueberry berries.
Blueberry berries. So we finally got to the answer.
Is it considering the word BE to be the third B?
Oh, I don't know. I've just gaslit the shit out of it.
Like,
just
so,
keep going.
But think about this from a logical thing. Like you see those things, how many squares or triangles are in this image? And it's like an image made up of triangles and there are sub-triangles. And like it could be the same thing. The word BE is B.
I'm just gonna start honestly, like talking to my wife, and just start saying, "I would love a couple blueberry berries." And just
blueberry berries. I need blueberry berries. Actually, I need blueberry berries. So I need that many berries. Is what I need.
When my son was a baby, he said "boo boo berries." So
yeah.
Check over there, boo boo berry.
I will add to Quentin's piece too. I think you'll start seeing WAFs that are inspecting responses between MCPs, responses between agents to user. I think you'll start seeing that type of technology exist. In my mind, people selling filters on both ends of the product as a methodology of solving this today. And I've met with several companies that are already doing that. So.
When you think about the AI pricing, like talking about like SaaS models, like how they're going to start selling for pricing, it's like this is the answer. Like how you apply your critical thought on top of how your AI works, how you are pulling in, like I was saying, using the right mixture of experts at the right times is going to be that skill that we pay for.
You finally figured it out. I love that you're reverse rewarding your AI. I wonder if they get the same dopamine hit I get when Claude's like, "You're right. I did massively screw that up." I'll fix it.
I wonder if there's somebody going through and auditing whether there's somebody gaslighting them in chats to make sure it doesn't go into the models.
Can I just filter out "you're absolutely right"? I am so sick of it telling me "you're absolutely right." I totally fucked you out of your last hour of your day.
Dude, I love it. So one of my things about Claude, getting back a little bit off topic on Claude here, when you ask it, even with all the things we've done, you ask it to make a sprint plan and implement something, it quite frequently will put placeholder text and consider that implemented. Like it's like, we need to implement later.
Yeah.
So you'll get this API response back that says need to implement later, service layer doesn't exist. And you're like, what the hell? That is not considered finishing this, you sorry bastard.
It's building it. Did you tell it somewhere it was building an MVP? I think we did. If it's the
we did. We did.
That's it's doing it.
Memory. It's like, no worries, man. Here's your pop-up that'll tell you the scan's been started. I had like 37 scans running, but the UI wasn't showing them, and I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, oh yeah, I looked at the API responses and I was like, oh, of course.
I need to get back to that. That's on my project list.
Don't even look at it, Jason. You're gonna just sigh and cry and walk away. Like I'm millions of lines of code. I'm sure at this point it's so bad.
Just send a whole bunch of mental models. Go ahead, John.
No, I was gonna say I think that's the episode title next week, Matt, or whenever we get back together. Blueberry berries and placeholder.
I'm gonna change this title actually in the post. It'll be blueberry berries. There's 3 B's in blueberry. ChatGPT 5.0. There's 3 B's in blueberries. You know?
In other news, we should be using AI tools to create chapters and stuff for these videos after we release them.
Yep, we will. I'll do a make.com flow.
We didn't say any like, oh, AI, remember this piece.
Yeah. Okay.
All
It's
right.
that time. We did it.
It's that time. We're